Hi, I'm Niall Heaney from Gulfstream Boat Sales. Today I'm down in Fermanagh here taking a look around this Sealine SC29. It's a 2007 boat, first launched in February 2008. It's had one owner from new. It's fitted with a pair of Volvo Penta D3 190 horsepower stern drive engines. It's a beautiful boat. It's in immaculate condition, been really well cared for. It's got around 800 hours on the clock. Really nice spec on this one as well. We're going to take a walk around it now. We're going to show you exactly the condition it's in. We're going to show you all the features inside it, and we're also going to take it out a spin on the lake and show you how it's performing underway. So taking a look around the exterior of the boat. This boat was obviously bought brand new by the current and only owner in February 2008. It's lived in this marina its entire life, and I think he's got the pick of the berths here, the end berth. So he obviously has had no trouble berthing it because there's no damage anywhere around the gel coat that I can see down along this starboard side anyway. Nice chunky rub rail on these SC29s, aluminium rub rail with PVC insert. Got aluminium elongated portholes as well. Nice high bow rails on her. Good wide side decks too, so it's easy to make your way forward up port and starboard side decks. We'll take a look up on the foredeck in a wee minute, but taking a look down along this starboard side, she's in great condition, nice and clean and tidy. Big chunky stainless steel cleat midships here. You get your water fuel fill point on the deck. This is obviously the SC29 one with the sliding fabric hardtop roof. I'm going to talk to you more about that in just a wee second as well. Sealine badge looks good. We got the SC29 model identifier. Engine room vents are in nice condition. No cracks or anything in those. Coming all the way back to the stern corner here, you've got rub rail in good condition there. No impact damage on the stern. And another nice stainless steel cleat there at the aft end beside the diesel fuel fill point for the starboard tank. So the hull looks really good down along the access onto the foredeck is nice and convenient. You've got a little moulded in teak step on the swim platform. You've got a high level handrail up here, and then you get a nice big long handrail that runs all the way along the roof line. And the side deck itself is probably the tread surface, maybe 8 inches wide. The guardrails immediately come up high above knee height, so it's very easy to safely make your way forward. Whenever you're up on the foredeck here, it's all pretty level, all moulded non-skid. 2 deck hatches giving you light into the cabin. These handrails along the outer edges mean that you could put a couple of towels down there and use up here for a bit of sunbathing. You got a really big anchor locker up forward. All the clips and catches are all in perfect condition. All the stainless steel work, you'll notice this as we go around the boat, all the bright work and all the stainless steel work on this boat's in perfect condition because it has only ever been used in fresh water, so you don't get any of that saltwater corrosion. Nice deep anchor locker, fully chain rode, electric anchor windlass with foot switches here. They're not turned on. We'll come back and check those. We got to turn on the switch in the dash, but you can drop, raise and lower the anchor with the foot switches there on the deck, as well as a switch on the dash. You have this forward cleat if you are tying a rope to the nose oar, and then 2 side cleats. A wee bit of damage just below. The owner pointed this out to me, shows you how conscientious he is. Just in underneath here. I mean, like, you gotta be pretty eagle-eyed to spot that. But the owner just told me he just wanted to point that out. A wee tiny bit of gel coat damage below that cleat. Other than that, everything up on the foredeck here looks great. The bow rails are unmarked. They're all solid, nice and solid and secure. Handrails are all good. Windscreen surrounds and seals and stuff all look good as well. 2 big wipers with integrated washers for clearing the screens. And then the sliding soft top roof, I should say. So this sliding roof is one of the big selling points of the SC29s, but they're hard to keep. They're hard to keep clean as well. This one has been replaced a couple of years ago, so this is a brand new roof. The owner just was getting a bit fed up with how it was looking. He said it was getting a bit mossy, it was getting hard to clean, so he spent quite a few pounds replacing that entire roof section. Just the fabric, the runners and everything are all original. It wasn't damaged, it was just grubby. So new fabric. And in addition to that, to try and keep his new roof clean, he had a cover, like a rollover cover made. So this canvas cover here is just rolled up. It just buttons on, fastens onto these poppers. And what that does is it keeps the dirt and the grime off the fabric sliding roof. It comes right the way forward and fixes onto these poppers here. So that means that whenever the boat's not in use, it keeps it drier, because there's no little, there's none of these wee gaps for any rain to blow in through. It fully encloses all that, keeps that sliding fabric roof looking like brand new, and it keeps the boat drier. So it's first time I've seen it done. I've heard people talk about it before. It's the first time I've seen it done, but I think it's a really good idea, and it just means that it keeps the boat much nicer. It means that your fabric roof will last a lot longer with that sort of cover over the top of it. So that's a really nice touch. It's things like this that show how conscientious the owner has been, how well he's looked after the thing, but that roof is in perfect condition. Taking a look up along the port side decks, again, everything's in nice condition. Canvas covers look good. Cleats down along this side are perfect. You've got your port side diesel filler. One tiny little bit of spider's web cracking there just in the corner, but nothing to worry about. It's just sometimes you get that in those sort of areas where there's a bit of stress concentration. This side of the boat's obviously a bit harder to look at, but it all looks in good condition. The owner has been berthing the boat on the starboard side, so there shouldn't really be any damage or marks up along that side. There's none that he's really aware of. Again, same width of side deck up this side of her. Covers and stuff all in good shape. This fabric sliding roof, obviously in perfect condition, and very easy to make your way all the way around this boat. So if you are just sitting at anchor and you want to extend your sort of lounging space, you've got the foredeck for that. Or if you're just simply coming alongside and you want to easily get out to hang fenders and work with dock lines, then it's very easy to walk around the entire boat. So stepping on to the swim platform, as you can see, because the decks extend out to the full width of the boat, the full beam of the boat, and come nicely aft, you can easily step on here from either side, and you've got a good size swim platform back here. It's probably about 2 or 3 feet wide, 2 or 3 feet deep, I should say. This one's laid in real teak as well. This boat has teak decks throughout, so real teak on the swim platform, real teak throughout the cockpit as well, and it's all in really good condition. It's obviously been well cared for. You've got the stainless steel handrail here, so you can hang on to something if you're walking across the back of the boat. We've got a little flagpole here. We have our shore power socket. You can plug in the shore power there. All the canvas covers are all in really good condition around the boat. The side panels, the rear curtain. And then we've got a swim ladder stored underneath this locker, so stainless steel hinges in perfect condition. Nice folding stainless steel ladder that all looks the part, and a good sized handrail there to hold on to, in addition to this one back here. So if you are having a swim off the back of the boat, it's easy to get in and out of the water. There is a transom shower back here. Get your controller down here, and your shower head lives in here. Now the owner was telling me the shower head cracked one winter just with a wee plastic shower fitting, and if you forget to drain the water out of the fitting, it's very easy for them to crack. So it cracked. He's put a stop end on the hose, but it's easy to fix that. I mean, those little shower heads are like 15 pounds or something, so wouldn't be a problem to get that sorted. Again, you get the little teak steps for accessing the side deck and for boarding the boat, all in perfect condition. We have this nice Sealine transom gate with the logo laid into it. So you swing that open, one little raised step gives you access into the cockpit there. The Sealine SC29 is just a shade under 30 foot long. It's 10 foot 6 inches wide. They are a very capable cruising boat. They're a popular boat. We've sold a few of them now, and they're popular for lots of reasons, but it's that next step up from a sort of 24, 25 foot sports cruiser. So if you're looking to go further afield, if you want to spend more time on board, you've got the benefit of a separate cabin downstairs. So you've sort of got privacy for 2 different berths, so 4 berths and 2 cabins downstairs. You also have the reassurance of a second engine. So if you're thinking about going further afield, or if you're using the boat around the coast, you've got the security of twin engines. They are just a very sophisticated boat, but they're still small enough to be able to manage on your own. Maintenance isn't going to be too crazy on them as well. And they're a nice sort of stylish boat. They're category B rated as well, so they are rated for offshore use. So if you were thinking about looking for something to go across the channel or over and back between Northern Ireland and Scotland or something, they'll do that quite comfortably also. The things I like about this one that set it apart from the others on the market are, first of all, it's a one owner boat, so it's only ever had one owner from new. It's also only ever been used in fresh water, so that makes a big difference. There's no saltwater corrosion issues. Engines and stern drives and things, heat exchangers, all that sort of stuff tends to last a lot longer with freshwater boats. The owner has been fastidious with the upkeep of it, even extending to a brand new folding sliding fabric roof. So a lot of times the roof, that fabric is a great system, but the condition often lets them down. And it's got a great spec: bow thruster, teak decks, gas cooking facilities, cockpit, fridge and wet bar, all that sort of stuff. So it is a really nice example, and you'll see that as we go through it, that it is, it's a great example of one of these SC29s. The first thing I like to do when stepping into these SC29s is get the roof folded back, because it throws a lot more light in here and sort of shows it off to its best, I think. But before we do that, I just want to show you the inside of this sliding fabric roof. I know I'm banging on about this a lot now, but it is really good that this one is basically like brand new. You tend to, they do get a bit dirty. This one, because it has that protective cover over the top, it should stop all this, but they're like a triple layer fabric, so they're sort of breathable. That means the benefit of that is that whenever the engines are on and the boat's running, you don't get the sort of reverberation that you get on a hardtop boat. So it sort of feels like an open boat, but obviously being enclosed. But the downside is that dirt can get into the middle of the fabric and it can be very hard to keep clean. So this one, the fact it's like brand new is a real bonus. Just wanted to show you that again. And then the process of opening the roof. So if you're out on a nice day, you're probably going to run with the roof open. Just slide that down, undo these 2 clips, and literally just slide the thing back. Just get it started here. It's sort of a two-handed thing, but let's see if we can do it one-handed. There we go. You just have to, the trick is to try and slide it evenly. There we go. And that's it. Slides open, and you now have an open air sports cruiser. So that is the benefit. Hard tops are good. Sliding hard tops are better. But this sliding fabric thing, whenever it's in good condition and it's all looking the part, is great because you can have a much bigger opening area, and it means you can stand. There's a wee fold down step at the helm. You can stand, look out the front, get the wind in your hair, and get the proper sort of open boat experience. But that roof section's in perfect condition. The cockpit layout is nice and spacious, so it's quite versatile as well. So whenever you come in through the transom gate, you get this nice open plan area. You've got a cockpit wet bar there on your port side. You've got this U-shaped seating arrangement along the port side. You can fold the helm seat forward, and then this cushion is actually removable, so you can remove that and you've got a proper seat here. Big table that stores in underneath that seat, sets up in those 2 posts there, and you've got a huge big table that'll easily accommodate probably 6 or 7 people around it. So if you're dining on board, you can set that table up. You can also drop it into a lower position and make that up into a sun pad, so you can create a huge sun pad area here, which again you could double up as an additional berth at night time if needs be. But whenever you're just out for a bit of a cruise about, where you're sitting, you know, if you've got people moving around the boat, you can pop the table and the cushions and everything out of the way, and you got plenty of floor space to move past each other. Moving forward then, you got a nice long portside lounger that'll accommodate up to 3 adults sitting there, nicely sheltered in behind the windscreen. And then you got this twin wide helm seat, so the helmsman and a forward passenger can sit there, clear visibility through the screen. So really good layout. Sliding door giving you access down into the cabin then that we'll take a look at shortly. So I'll just walk you through each area of the cockpit, show you the condition that it's in, show you the features that we've got, and yeah, get a better idea what this boat's like. As you walk into the cockpit, the first thing you'll come across is your battery isolator switches, so they're convenient to get to. So you got twin battery system on board, obviously. So you get your isolator switches there, your circuit breakers are located beside it. You've got your gas locker in here for your gas cooker. And then we've got a manual bilge pump here with a handle there, so that's just your emergency bilge pump. Obviously there's full electric pumps on this boat as well. In here we've got your fuel shut off switches, so if you need to shut the fuel off to the engines in emergency, you can do that there. We've got a cockpit refrigerator on this boat, as well as the fridge downstairs, so a nice little Waco fridge unit. So it means you don't have to constantly run up and down to the cabin to refill your drinks. And then above that we have this little wet bar area. So the top lifts up on this stainless steel strut, little folding sink unit, or tap unit, sorry. That's great for preparing food and drinks and stuff like that. And then when it's not, you just fold it down, you got this nice solid surface countertop. All the hinges and stuff and clips and catches are all in perfect condition. Further forward then we have the port side lounger seat. The upholstery, nice sort of tan leather upholstery, all in perfect condition. You've got a little window porthole down into the aft cabin below. And then up here we have another deck hatch giving you a bit of natural light and ventilation down into that aft cabin as well. Stainless steel handrail here, so if you've got passengers standing here looking forward whenever the boat's on their way, they get something to hold on to. But everything up here, like, it's all in beautiful condition, this boat. It really is nice. Covers are in good shape. You can zip out these side panels and take off that back section if you want to, fully open the boat up. But I'd find nine times out of 10 you're probably going to leave those covers in position and just slide the roof open and closed as you need it on a nice day like today. All the window seals and stuff are all in good condition, nice and dry as well. There's no evidence of water pulling or anything. The fact that this boat has that over cover that goes over the top of the fabric sliding roof means that there should be no water coming in here either. Some of these Sealines, you do get a wee trickle of water coming down in there, but because you've got that over cover on this one, that stops all that. So everything looks really nice and clean and tidy up here. Over on the starboard side then, we've got this L-shaped lounger seating. There's a bit of storage underneath this, so all the seat cushions are removable. Everything's, even the seat backs and stuff, the back of the seat cushions in this boat are all nice and clean and tidy. You can really tell that this boat has been properly cared for. So with those two cushions out of the way, you lift this up here and you got this little transom locker, shore power lead in here, a couple of spare fuel filters or oil filters there, and a wee adapter. The owner was telling me he plugs the boat into shore power. He stores it ashore every winter beside his holiday home here, and he plugs it into shore power, so that's the adapter to allow you to plug the shore power into the wall socket. While we have this open as well, I'll just close this door over, and that will allow us to lift up the engine hatch. So engine hatch lifts up like this. Just need to make sure this cushion is pushed back out of the way. So engine hatch lifts up on two gas struts, and you've got a huge amount of space down in the engine room there. So we'll take a wee look in here now what we've got. So this boat is fitted with a pair of Volvo Penta D3 190 horsepower engines. So the larger horsepower, I think the standard engines on these boats were 160s, but this one is the 190, so it gives them a good bit more performance, gets the boat up on plane quicker, gives you higher top speed. I think this boat's good for around about 35, 36 knots, something like that on the top end. Little molded in aluminium step here to give you access down into the engine bay. And then the engine bay itself is nice and clean and tidy. These engines have run for 815 hours. I think one of them's done 810, the others are 815, so 815 engine hours. The owner is fastidious about maintenance. It's serviced every year. He has told me a few things he's done now to keep on top of it. I think some of the stuff he was telling me about was new trim tabs last year. I think one of the trim tabs was sticking. Funny, the previous SC29 I sold this year also had to have new trim tabs fitted. So new trim tabs fitted in this one. Bellows were done about 4 years ago. He's going to find out engine oil and filters and fuel filters were changed literally about 2 weeks ago. So September 2020. So the engines, he services them at this time of year. The boat's due to come out of the water now in the next couple of weeks for winter, for store to shore. It's always store to shore over the winter. So it has been serviced just recently there. You can actually see these filters, brand new filters on here, pre-filters, fuel filters. So it has been properly cared for and looked after. And the engine bay is really clean and tidy. Again, being a freshwater one means that all this sort of stuff like engine mounts, pulleys, you just don't get any of that sort of nasty saltwater stuff. So engine mounts look good, bilge is nice and clean and tidy. All the paintwork on the engine is looking the part. You've got your power trim motors here mounted high in the transom, which are in good condition. You've got some of your shore power switch panels and stuff. This boat has the optional electronic controls, so fly-by-wire throttles and stuff installed as well. So that's your controllers for your throttle and shift cables. Full fly-by-wire system. What do we have over there? Is that a battery charger or something? That's galvanic isolator unit. You've got your automatic fire extinguisher showing in the green on the indicator. All your fluid levels and stuff look good. These header tanks are immaculate actually. Quite often you get a bit of crud and sort of dirt inside those. They're mint. Pulleys all look the part. This is a super clean engine bay, to be fair. These are your switchover things for your isolator switches for your diesel supply. You've got some breakers for your battery charger. There's your battery charger in there. Fresh water pump. Throttle actuator. Your calorifier for your hot water system. So there'll be an immersion heater in that. And also you can see it's plumbed up, these red hoses, it's plumbed up to the engine. So whenever the engines run, that's going to heat the water. You get your battery boxes, main battery boxes in there. An additional battery box here. Bilge pump and float switch. Everything's nice and clean and tidy, and soundproofing and stuff all looks good. So yeah, absolutely immaculate engine bay on this thing for an 07 boat. This is a really tidy engine room. Bit of storage here in front. So if you did, you just have to be careful whatever you put there doesn't sort of fall into the pulleys on the engine, but you've got room there to store a bit of gear as well. So there we go. They definitely a nice, clean, tidy engine bay, and the 190s would be the sort of engine of choice. Anytime I'm talking to anybody who's looking for an SC29 or similar, they always want the 190 horsepower motors. So that boat ticks this box. To set up the table, the cockpit table, you just slide it out from its little home in underneath there, and then the table legs are clipped to the bottom of it. So undo those, stick them in the mounts, pedestal mounts, and then just set the table on top and just put the camera down here. Because of the whole COVID thing, I'm doing all these videos myself, so I don't have my normal cameraman, so apologies for if it's a little bit rough and ready, but hopefully it does the job. So there we go, simple as that. Table in position, looks almost like it's never been used. One wee tiny mark there. So a nice sort of like a beach or something, nice sort of white wood table. Chrome stainless steel pedestals, but as you can see, it's a huge table and you'll easily accommodate 5 or 6 people around it, no problem, for a picnic on board. just in case it wasn't clear how this worked, you fold that cushion up, and then that seat backrest, oops, you can have it like that either, but you pin that up. That seat, you can pin that together so it doesn't flop in the middle, but that folds that way, and you do have a full size seat then at this end of the table as well. And finally, you can remove the table, put it back in there, take out this panel here with the cushion on top of it, and set it in the middle, and then that makes up a sun pad cushion. So it means that you've got a huge big sun pad there. So with the roof open, you can lie and do a bit of sunbathing, and quite a bit of privacy actually if you leave all the side panels up. Or at night time, the roof closed, it doubles up as a sort of extra berth if you need it. Everything, as I should say, everything's in perfect condition. All the wee clips and catches and stuff for the backrest, all the cushions are immaculate. There's no tears or anything. All the table supports, everything so far throughout this boat is in mint condition. We've these nice downlighters set into the roof. So you've got a total of 5 downlighters that nicely illuminate the cockpit after dark. Okay, and all these roof panels and stuff are all in immaculate condition. Even outside there's an area where it gets very grubby very quickly. So if you want to know whether an owner's been cleaning the boat, have a look up in there. This one's clean, so he has been looking after it. The teak floor is obviously a really nice touch. Definitely sets the cockpit off. It is in very good condition as well. Little step here, so you can, if you've got that side panel out, you can step out directly onto the side deck.
This is Signet for radio check, over.
Let's try and turn that off. But one thing I wanted to point out about the floor is there's a wee bit of wear. You sort of have to be downstairs and coming back up. There's a wee bit of wear. It might have been like high heels or something. There's a wee bit of wear in it there. It's probably going to be your high wear area, but I mean, like, it's super minor. I'm really sort of struggling to find fault with this boat, but so you do have that wee bit of wear there, but I'm sure it's probably never be an issue. But just one of the reasons I go into so much detail in these videos is that I don't want to be appreciate that 9 times out of 10, or most of the time, somebody's come to look at a boat, they're traveling quite a distance, and you're taking a day out of your life. And sometimes, you know, we sell boats to a lot of buyers from England and things. I don't want you traveling a long distance and taking the time and effort to come and see something and be disappointed. So I do try and point out all the flaws, so you know exactly what you're coming to see. It's not a new boat at the end of the day. It is 2007. There's going to be wee things, but this thing's in really nice condition. But that's just wanted to let you know about that wee bit of stuff on the floor. But it's hard to even see on the camera, to be honest with you. Anyway, that's that. Taking a look at the helm station then now. We obviously have this nice wide, twin wide, deeply upholstered helm seat. There's storage underneath there as well. Let me just show you that before we go any further. Something I sort of forgot about, I think, on the last video that I did. So you have a big storage locker in there. So what do we have? A bottle of polish or something, and some sort of wooden panel. Anyway, it's not the easiest to access in the world if you sort of have to move that thing, but there is a big deep locker, so good for life jackets and stuff like that, and safety gear. We have this stainless steel footrest that you can rest your feet on whenever you're sitting at the helm, and then if you want to stand at the helm, you fold that little shelf down, and that gives you a little step to stand on. So if you stand on the step, that's eye level, so I'm looking clear out over the top of the windscreen, so you get great visibility. And then sitting at the helm is my eye line, so you're looking sort of straight through the middle of the screen. You get views out through these wee side panels, where you can duck down and get a look out the screen, and you get pretty good visibility all the way around the boat. So a nicely appointed helm station. This boat being fitted with a D3 190s, gets up on plane quickly. Cruising speeds are around about 25 knots. It's a really nice hull design on these SC29s. It's an Oki Mannerfelt designed hull, twin stepped hull, so that means it gets up on plane quicker and it's more efficient through the water, less drag. So you get a nice sort of economical cruising speed, about 25 knots, so nice fast cruise. And then top end is mid-30s. We're going to take this boat out on the lake now in the next wee while, and we'll see exactly what we're getting out of this particular example. But really nice helm, comfortable seat, room for another passenger beside you. Throttle and shift levers fall easily to hand. It's the EVC one, so electronic fly-by-wire throttle and shift. So these are finger light controls. Beside that, we've got our trim tab controls. We'll run through all this on the water. Controller for the bow thruster, EVC panels for controlling the instruments. Let's just turn them on actually and show you how many hours we have on here. Fire up the clocks. But I'll show you all this stuff when we're out on the water. So we get 815.1 hours on the starboard engine, 810.4 hours on the port engine, and then you get, you know, voltmeter, temperature gauges, all that sort of stuff. Speed and depth logs. The owner was telling me the owner has bought a new boat and he hasn't really used this boat very much this season. We're actually going to be taking it out for the first time in a week or two, I think, later today. But he said the boat speed and the depth readings are a bit iffy. They said that he doesn't think they're reading accurately at the minute. He says it's the first time they've ever done that, and he thinks it's probably because it's been sitting around a wee bit this summer. But on that subject, actually, 810 hours, 815 hours is around about, well, it's a 10-year-old boat. No, it's not. It's a 13-year-old boat, so it's about 50, 60 hours a year. That's a good amount of use. Particularly in these engines, these D3 engines, if you do any research, they're a glitchy sort of engine. They have a lot of sensors on them. They're a very sensitive engine, and they can give a wee bit of, you know, they can throw up little phantom error codes and bits and pieces like that. So they like to be used. I find that ones that have more hours on them, I was actually chatting to a guy recently who's a fin master with a D3 in it, and he's got something like 1,300 hours on it. He's doing something like 200 hours a year, and he has absolutely no trouble with it whatsoever. He says it runs like a watch. So something with slightly more hours on it. This is still not huge hours by any stretch of the imagination. You know, 60 hours a year is average, but you come across a lot of boats that maybe only do 10 or 20 hours a year, and that can be as bad for them as, you know, it can be it's nearly more of a bad thing than a good thing, especially the D3s. So with a D3, you sort of want to find one that's been regularly used, which this one has right up until this season, until the owner got his new boat. But you want to see something that's been regularly used, well maintained, well cared for, and you know they should give very little trouble. And so this one has a decent number of hours on it, and it's been in consistent use by the one owner. They haven't been abused by any stretch of the imagination, and they're you know, they're running really well at the minute. So what we're going to do now is we'll take the boat out a spin on the lake and show you exactly how she is performing underway. Just to run you through the switch gear here, we have 12-volt power socket here, far left. We've got our windscreen washer pump, windscreen wipers for port and starboard side. We have bilge blower. I think I need to turn those on downstairs. I don't think I turned them on down the cabin. Anchor windlass, down and up. What's this? Trim tabs. So you turn on the power to the tabs there. Sorry, that was on. Turn them back on, and then with LED indicators on them, so they're perfect working order. As I said, they're brand new this year. Battery crossover switch, so if you want to combine your domestic batteries and your engine battery for engine starting, you can do it with that one. And the horn, maybe not working. I think I have that turned on downstairs. That's maybe not working. We've got a little handheld VHF radio here, which was, as we heard earlier, it's working. Your speaker is down here as we control the volume for the speaker for the radio. Ignition switches, bow thruster controller, and then your rudder indicator as well. So we'll go through the dash in detail when the boat's on the water. So we're on the lake now with the SC29, and I just want to walk you through the dashboard. Then we'll put the boat up on plane, run it at cruising speed, and then take it up to full throttle as well, and just show you how it's performing. The engines are starting on the button. We've got voltmeters here showing 14 volts, temperatures up to about 75 degrees. She's almost full of diesel. 810 hours in the port engine. She's trimmed fully in at -6 and -5. You get your rudder indicator here as well, which shows you the position of the legs, which is handy whenever you're coming in to berth the boat. As I said, these buoys here are just a wee bit on the blink, the speed and depth there, but it's probably just due to a bit of dirt on the senders. On the port engine then, again, that port tank's almost full, 14 volts, 75 degrees, and just idle speed. So because she's fly-by-wire EVC controls, you just got these finger-like controls. So that's her in ahead, forward gear. Shift is nice and smooth, the drives are nice and quiet. Go for reverse there. She's running well. If you want to just spin the boat on her length, you can just give it, go forward, go ahead on the, that's just that wee boil rattling a wee bit. Just go ahead on the starboard engine, reverse on the port engine, and you can see we're just spinning here now. So very maneuverable with the twin engines and the bow thruster as well. Bow thruster's working perfectly. So this is a very easy boat to handle around the marina. So what we'll do now is we'll put her on plane and show you how she's getting up and away. Drop the trim tabs down. Put the trim tabs fully down for accelerating onto the plane. So get the tabs fully down. Let's put her up on plane here now. And these are super light. You almost don't need to touch them and they move. So that's her up and away. We're doing about 3,000 RPM, and although we don't have a speed reading here, I got some readings there on an earlier run from my phone GPS. So we're doing about 25 knots here at 3,000 RPM. That's your sort of going to be your comfortable cruising speed. Boat sitting nice and level. We can lift the trim tabs up a wee bit, take the tabs off her. She's sitting nicely. Good visibility through the screen. Clear visibility out the side. Even with the roof open, it's nice and quiet. You can sit and have a conversation with your passengers and stuff. All the instruments look good. Oil pressure, or oil temperature. If you want to stand and look over the top. So be really comfortable in a longer passage, and you just sit. The boat's more or less driving itself, tracking in a straight line, holding speed. If we trim her up a wee bit, and we'll give her full throttle here now. See the nose drop a bit more. knots are running up to about 4,000 RPM, or just shy of it, about 3,800 RPM, and boat speeds about 31, 32 knots there I had on the previous run. That's her with a wee bit of a grubby bottom. And then if you want to chuck her through some turns, we'll trim her down, trim the legs back down, chuck her through a few turns. Just bring her gradually off the plane. It's her back down to just idling speed now. So there you go, the boat's running lovely, all the instruments are working bar that speed and depth, which we need a wee look at. Hopefully it's just a bit of dirt on the bottom of it. But she's getting up on the plane quickly, dropping the nose down very quick. Trim tabs are working perfectly, drive trim's working perfectly, all the gauges and clocks are working. The throttle and shift is nice and smooth, and these are the very, very light controls actually. If you're coming from a mechanical control boat, they take a wee bit of getting used to, but very light controls on that. The steering's nice and light as well. You can chuck this boat around and have a bit of fun with it if you want to. But if you just want to tootle along, you know, slow and steady at this sort of speed, you know, displacement speeds, it's nice and comfortable and quiet. And similarly, if you're cruising, if you want a fast cruise at around about 25 knots, engines are turning about 3,000 RPM. It's very smooth, very quiet, and it's going to be an economical sort of fast cruise. Flat out, we were seeing about 32 knots today with this one. I'm sure if the bottom was cleaned up a wee bit, you'd probably get another couple of knots out of it too. So this boat, as far as I can tell, is doing everything it's supposed to do. Really nice running boat, yeah, perfect running order. Forward of the dashboard with a steering compass, we got a little chart table area here, which is handy, especially on the inland waterways for a paper chart. Little stainless steel cup holder there, and another deck hatch giving a bit of light, natural light down into the cabin. But let's now head downstairs and take a look around the cabin. So we've got 3 steps down into the cabin here. This boat also has the optional cherry wood floor, so you got a solid wood floor at the bottom of your staircase there. So this area is like the high wear area, And if it's carpeted here, they do tend to suffer a bit. So this one's good that it has that solid wood floor. And then you've got your L-shaped galley on the starboard side, nicely appointed with gas cooking facilities. You've got your forward dinette arrangement that converts into a double berth. You can drop the table and make up a double berth there. Beautiful condition. We've got toilet and shower compartment here on the port side, and separate access into the aft cabin here behind the stairs. So we'll take a look at those in a wee second. But really nice cabin, loads of headroom down here. I'm about 5'10". I've got probably 3 inches or maybe more above my head. You've got this little opening deck hatch up here as well, so you can get a bit of natural light and ventilation. You get loads of portholes, 4 portholes in here, and plenty of space to move around. You know, one of the bugbears about people with smaller 25-foot, 26-foot sports cruisers is that if there's somebody standing at the galley downstairs and somebody else wants to walk past, it's a whole sort of a logistical exercise. You got to move out of the way and things. But this boat here, somebody can be standing working at the galley and you've loads of room to walk past them. So that's the benefit of that extra beam, the 10 foot 6 inches beam. But let's take a close look around here, starting with the galley. Got this nice grey countertop, a twin or sink and a half, nice deep sinks with hot and cold running water there. We have 240 volt shore sockets whenever you're plugged in the shore power, little controller for your TV antenna, nice little shelf here for storage with a rail around the edge, little fire extinguisher there, this post to hang on to if you're down here whenever the boat's underway. We've got a second fridge in here. That's in addition to the fridge in the cockpit. Cutlery tray, or drawer, sorry. Big cupboard here in the corner, with lots of storage space, nicely shelved out. Everything's in immaculate condition, this boat as well. Again, all these little clips and catches and stuff are all perfect. Gas oven that doesn't look like it's seen a lot of action, or else it's been extremely well cleaned. That looks like brand new. Gas oven means you can cook whenever you're away from the shore power as well. And then we've got this gas, trying to do all this stuff one-handed, it's tricky. Gas hob, 2-ring, 2-burner gas hob as well. Again, looks immaculate. Say that has been used probably to boil that kettle, but other than that, it's probably been used very little. That's the thing about this boat. The owner has a holiday home right here beside it, so it hasn't really been lived in as much, been used, you know, largely as a day boat. Got this nice illuminated panel behind here, storage back in there. This breadboard that possibly covers in the sink as well, actually. Yep, so that covers in the sink whenever it's not in use. And then we've got storage above here. All these cupboards, nice deep cupboards with plenty of storage space in it. So lovely joinery, all nicely fitted and finished. Great little galley for going away for long weekends on the water or even a bit longer. 2 downlighters there, bit of storage here, like a little bin area there underneath that step. Up here we have our switch panel for all our, this is a 240 volt shore power panel and your shore power stuff. And then you get switches for your lights, cabin lights, deck lights, running power, wipers, windlass, all that sort of stuff. You get your voltmeter here, showing your DC volts and your amps. Controllers for bilge pumps and stuff, and you get little indicators to show you when the pumps are running and also when tanks are full, waste tank, grey tank, water tank level, your fridge controls and all that sort of stuff. So again, that's easy to get to. You don't have to go and hook through a locker to get to that panel, it's just right in front of you. And then before we leave this area, I just want to show you underneath the floor here. These panels lift up to give you access into the bilge. Everything's nice and clean and tidy in there. There's not a lot of water lying in it or anything. And then you lift up this panel as well. There's a bit more storage space in there. Not that you get too much in it, but you might get a few bits and bobs. Moving forward then, you've got this beautiful dinette arrangement. So nice big oval table, beautifully upholstered seat cushions. This is all the original upholstery. This was an upgrade as well. It's on the spec sheet as upgraded interior upholstery. All in beautiful condition. Headlining and stuff's all perfect. The actual, there is upholstered panels, but you've got a lot of fiberglass in here as well, so it's easy to keep clean. Just wipe it down. You have these overhead deck hatches, so you can open them up on a nice day to get a bit of light or ventilation through the boat. Lots of downlighters all dotted around, all working perfectly. Behind the seat backs, you've got a ton of storage space, huge big storage bins, and behind the seat back rests, you've got this opening port light, the wee curtain to screen it off at night time, and you've got two on the other side, again with curtains to screen them off. More storage behind the seat backs there. Beautiful high gloss finish on the table, which is in immaculate condition. You'll easily sit 4 or 5 people around this table, no problem at all. And at night time, if you need the berth, you can just remove the legs, drop it down. There's a filler cushion goes in on top of it, and then this whole area becomes a huge big double berth. You get storage underneath and underneath these panels, so it's all interconnected. Storage locker. Everywhere you look on this boat, even behind the scenes, is all clean and tidy as well. All really nice. And more storage under the front cushion there as well. Nice mirror up forward. And then back here, that's another big storage bin. You've got another 240 volt socket whenever you're plugged in the shore power. Flat screen TV, DVD player. And I've got a high-end stereo here, this blow punked. Not too sure how you pronounce that. I think it's blow punked. Stereo with 4 speakers. Signal down in Fermanagh here is shocking for the radio signal. But there's 4 speakers. There's 2 on the roof here, and there's 2 in the arch out in the cockpit. I've checked them all. They're all working. You've got a wee traditional barometer and clock, Sealine barometer and Sealine clock up there. Again, everything's in beautiful condition, and you have this storage locker, easy access in there, and that's the ownership pack. I've been through the ownership pack with the owner as well. We hanging locker, hanging rail there. The boat has all the proper paperwork and documents. The original VAT invoice, we've got the builder's certificate, we've got the bill of sale. There only has one bill of sale because there's just been one owner. He has the original spec sheet and the original brochure and stuff, and all the handbooks and manuals. So totally perfect on the paperwork front, this boat. Heads compartment is accessed through this forward door. Little towel rail there. We shower curtain to screen it off. The whole compartment is lined and drained, so if you want to take a shower in here, it'll drain in the bilge and pump overboard. This boat has the upgraded electric toilet conversion, so it's an electric push button flush toilet with a new pump. Actually this year the pump was given a wee bit of bother, so he replaced the pump this year, brand new. We've got a nice little sink unit there, vanity mirror. These little backlit mirrors are a nice touch. Opening port light so you can get a bit of ventilation in here, and then a wee bit of storage and a razor socket in there in the wee cupboard. Again, all in nice condition, and it's a nicely appointed heads compartment. Plenty of room in it, and you even have ensuite access into the aft cabin, which we'll show you from the other side in a minute. But lovely heads compartment. Another big selling point of this, the Sealine SC29, is this separate aft cabin. So totally private and enclosed aft cabin with a fixed double berth and even ensuite access into the heads compartment. So if you have to use the bathroom at night time, you don't have to disturb the guests in the forward cabin. But like the rest of this boat, this cabin is in immaculate condition. Really nicely appointed. We have an opening deck hatch there for a bit of natural light ventilation. There's also an opening porthole as well. This little unit is a nice little sort of dressing or sort of wardrobe unit. You've got a hanging locker in here. You've got, that's backlit. It also, you see, it also backlights these shelves, so at night time they all illuminate, which is a nice wee touch. So a bit of storage in there. Again, all in immaculate condition. The glass, the little fixtures and fittings, the joinery is perfect. Little mirror, spotlight. You got room to stand up in here. Well, I have room to stand up 2 or 3 inches to spare above my head. So if you're getting changed, you can get changed there. And then your double berth area is back here. Really big berth with decent height above it, certainly, especially at the head of the bed. You've got that little opening hatch that opens out into the cockpit curtain to screen it off, and an opening porthole with curtains to screen it off as well. Beautifully finished, all the original. Actually, a wee tiny bit of a sort of wee bit threadbare there, actually, that cover, that mattress cover, that's the original mattress cover. I presume maybe it's been scratched or something with something been, typically on boats that like this that don't spend a lot of time people sleeping on board, this tends to be doubled up as a big storage area, so maybe they just fired something in there and it's just caught the mattress. But other than that, the headrest is perfect. You can fold these down, you've got storage in behind. That's all the original carpet in there. It's all bone dry. It's all in beautiful condition. There's no mold or mildew or anything. You've got a 240 volt socket back there. So whenever you're plugged into shore power, plug in a phone charger or something. Plenty of storage in that shelf. And then, as I said, nice spacious double berth. There's a locker down the back there as well. We'll take a look at that in a wee second. So there you go, a really nicely appointed aft cabin area in beautiful condition throughout, just like the rest of the boat, and totally private with that ensuite access to the toilet. In this locker at the foot of the bed, we have some Raymarine electronics, black box for the radio, the looks of things. That's a VHF radio box. Little bulkhead light in there so you can illuminate the locker, and just a bit of storage space, a wee bit of service access there, but that's a good bit of storage space in that locker back there. While we're looking at lockers in here, let's have a look in there. That's just access to the back of the stairs. You can see you've got the bilge pump, the forward bilge pump and float switch, and your shower sump pump. Again, everything is mint. You could actually put a wee false floor in there and use that for a bit of extra storage too. So there you have it. That's the 2007, first launched February 2000 or March 2008 SC29. Fitted with a D3 190s, 815 hours on the clock. Beautiful condition, fresh water from new, one owner from new. Really good spec with a teak decks, uprated engines, a bow thruster, cockpit fridge, the brand new sliding fabric roof. This is a really nice example. It's probably the nicest one I've sold yet, and it is hopefully not going to hang around too long. If you're interested in the boat, if you want to come and see it, if you want to arrange a sea trial or a survey, or if you've got any questions at all, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Send me an email to Niall or sales actually at gulfstreamshop.com, or give me a call on the number at the top of the web page, or fill out the callback request form on this page of our website, and I'll call you back at a time that's convenient. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you found it useful.